Welcome to Algebra Chapter 6, Section 7. We are at geometric sequences. Remember, this chapter is all about exponential functions, exponential equations, and exponential functions are you're multiplying a term by something over and over. So hopefully you've been doing Khan Academy, so you're not getting rusty because this is the last section before a test. And, it can't be rusty. 2 weeks off? Yikes. All right. Oh, don't want that one. Using a new program, using a new pen, work through my rustiness, all right? Arithmetic sequence is old news. It's a sequence of numbers where you add or subtract the same value. The common value is known as a common difference. We're going to do that. It's last chapter. This is the new stuff. Geometric sequence, a sequence of numbers in which each number is being multiplied by the same value. R is the factor you're multiplying by. If it's a fraction, the terms get smaller. So if R is greater than 1, your terms get larger. If R is less than 1, obviously we're talking greater than 0, less than 1, then your terms get smaller. So that's good to know because then you can know if you made a mistake or not. All right, let's look at this we can do together. Determine if it's arithmetic or geometric. Find the next 3 terms. And what is the common ratio? So first we have to figure out, is it arithmetic or geometric? So we go from here to here, we add 5, go to here, here, we add 5, we go to here, add 5, go to here, add 5. So we know right now it's arithmetic. Our common difference is 5. Our next 3 terms, so our common difference equals 5. Our next 3 terms would then be 25, 30, 35. All right, let's look at this one. On my paper, if you remember, you saw A, B, C, D at the bottom because it's really too close to do anything to do this with, so you can do A, B, C, D. That was A. This one's B. All right, let's see. Is it an arithmetic? Plus 4, definitely not plus 4. So no, it's not arithmetic. So now we have to look at geometric. So we take the second term divided by the first term. 5 divided by 1 is 5. We're going to do it here as well. 25 divided by 5. And it also is 5. So now I found my common ratio. Remember, that's an R. That's a 5. I know it is a geometric sequence. Geometric. And now I'm ready for my next 3 terms. So I'm going to multiply it by 5. So 625 times 5. 3,125. Then I'm going to do 3,125 times 5. And I get 15,625. And then I'm going to do this times 5. 78,125. Those are my next 3 terms. All right. You guys do C by yourself. Hit the pause button. Okay, so let's see what you got. I am subtracting 12, but then I'm adding, so definitely not linear. So it's definitely maybe geometric or neither. So let's see what I do from here to here. This is times -2. This is times -2. So it is geometric. My common ratio is -2. And my next 3 terms are -32, 64, and -128. Is that what you got? All right. Try the next one. All right, let's see what you got. This is adding 12. This is not adding 12, so I know it's definitely not linear. Let's try if it's geometric. So this number divided by this number, if I use my calculator, I get 1.2. If I didn't use my calculator, I got 1 1/5. It's obviously easier to use your calculator because this one here is a decimal, so you know it's okay. If that was a fraction, you would not want to use your calculator. You'd want to work with fractions. So it is a geometric sequence. Your common ratio is 1.2. And your next three terms, 103 and 68 hundredths. Then the next term is 124 point, whoops, have it on erase instead of on draw. 124.416, which should be read as 124 and 416 thousandths. And then your third term is 149.2994, 149 and 2,994 ten thousandths. All right, let's look at the next page. To graph a geometric sequence, create a table. The x value is the position. The position is referred to as n. The y value is the number in that position, referred to as a subscript n. So x, y are actually term and number. So what term is this one? First, this one, second. Oh, you guys are so smart. Third, fourth, fifth. So we actually have 5 points we can graph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So first term is 32, second term is 16, third term is 8, fourth term is 4, fifth term is 2. On your homework, it says to graph, but I haven't figured out how to graph without a picture, and pictures weren't all working. Your pictures were fine, but so it says to write the coordinates for the first 5. So the first 5 coordinates would be this. I don't think I said 5, I think I said 4. All right, then along your x-axis, we are going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is the term. Along the y-axis, we are going to go from 32 to 2. So let's count by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. All right, so my first one is 132, so 132. My second one is 216. My third one is 3, 8. My fourth one is 4, 4. My fifth one is 5, 2. And we can see the exponential graph. I get closer and closer to your x-axis without actually touching your x-axis because it's never going to be 0. So that's what that looks like. Okay, looking at the next page, it's ways to represent numbers. So they give you a series of numbers. Here, these are your numbers, 2, 6, 18, 54. So one way is to first, remember the subscripts, your placement of your term. So this number is the first term. This number is the second term. This number is the third term. Blah, blah, blah. This number is the nth term. So using our example down here, the first term is 2. The second term is 6. The third term is 18. The fourth term is 54, blah, 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 to the nth term, which you don't know what it is. Then looking at the second way to represent, you always refer to what was before it. What was before it times your common ratio. So let's look at how we represent this series this way. So our first term is 2. That was pretty easy. This means first term. First term is 2. Have to have your first term for this one. Then your second term is your first term. That's this, which is 2, times your common ratio, which is 3. So your second term is 6. Hey, that matches. And your third term is your second term. What was your second term? 6. Good job. You're so smart. Times your common ratio, which is 3. 6 times 3 is 18, which is right there. Your fourth term is your third term, Your third term was your 18 times your 3. Here's your, which is 54. And then your nth term would be whatever the term before it times r would be. So if you need to find your whatever term, you can't use it that way. You have to use it this way. Which gets you to your formula. Whatever your first term is, times the common ratio to the exponent of whatever term you're looking for minus 1. So all of this was just to show you there's different ways to represent it. Which brings us to that formula again. So let's focus on the formula because you'll be using the formula a lot. Okay, so on the formula you have 1, 2, 3, 4 variables. So a subscript n is simply whatever term you're looking for. A subscript 1 is the first term, r is your common ratio, and n is the number of term you're looking for. So let's take it in a example. First, write an equation, then find the 7th term. So make sure you do 2 parts, please. Some of you guys are not reading all of the instructions and you're just going for the last thing. Please don't do that. All right, we all know it's a geometric sequence because they tell us. So -5 divided by 1 is -5. So our r value is -5. A subscript n is a subscript n because we need to come up with a formula. The first term is 1. And n is n for the purpose of the equation, which is the first part. So now we're going to plug stuff in. A subscript n equals a subscript 1 times r to the n minus 1 power. Now we're going to plug stuff in. A subscript n is going to stay. A subscript 1 is the first term. The first term is 1 times r. R is -5 raised to the power of n minus 1. And then look and see if you can simplify anywhere, which you cannot. So our first part is done. That's our first part. Now our second part is substituting n for which of our variables? Oh, you're so smart. I think I already told you. I think I said n instead of 7. So n equals 7 now. So a subscript 7, which means the 7th term, is 1 times -5 raised to the 7 minus 1 power. A subscript 7 equals 1 times -5 to the 6th power. Use your calculator. Hopefully you got, when you used your calculator, hopefully you paused it, use your calculator. 1 times 15,625. So let's see here, I can do that multiplication without using a calculator. The 7th term is 15,625. Which brings us to a story problem. I am going to pause. I want you to simply write the variables that would be in the equation and what each one would be. So I want the first term equals, I want the nth term equals, I want n equals, I want r equals, and that's just it. Then pause it. All right, hopefully you read it and you did it on your own. The first term is 2. The nth term is the nth term because at this point we don't know yet. So n is n. R is 2. It's doubling each time, so that means it's times 2 times 2 times 2. So now hit pause and write the equation. Okay, hopefully you wrote a subscript n equals 1 times 2 to the n minus 1 because that is what the equation is. A subscript n equals a subscript 1, which is the first term, times r, your common ratio, times the term minus 1. Now we're ready for the next part. On the 30th day, so which one of these variables over here can you change because you know what you want now? You know that n is 30, so we are looking for the 30th term. So the 30th term is equal to 1 times 2 raised to the 30 minus 1 power. So I'm not ready to do this yet, but I don't have any room, so I'm going to jump underneath it. The 30th term is equal to 1 times 2 to the 29th power. Use your calculator to figure out what that is. Okay, so I got 536,870,912. So we know in this situation that is how many grains he'll lose. So grains that the king will lose. So the question is, do you agree with the king that, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my entire kingdom? Or do you disagree? So if you answer this, you have to answer the first part. I disagree or agree because it is only whatever you say. I would say at first when I did it, I said, oh my gosh, he's right. He'll lose his kingdom. Then the second, because, oh my gosh, the numbers just keep getting higher and higher. And the other way I looked at it is I disagree because it's only for 1 month and 536 million grains. It sounds like a high number, but I don't think it really would be too bad. He'd take a hit for sure, kind of like our stock market is taking a hit right now. But anyway, so this, as long as you explain it using, this information, you're fine. Which brings us to our homework. Okay, so taking pictures worked fine for you guys. There were about 5 people of the entire 5th through 8th grade who couldn't upload pictures, so I don't know what that was about. So I created Google Forms. With Google Forms, you can only write your final answer. So if you go wrong somewhere, I cannot help you through Google Forms. So answer everything through Google Forms and send me a message if you need more help. I will arrange a time to FaceTime with you. I think you all have Apple products. If you don't, I can figure out how to do Zoom. Mr. Behringer sent me something on how to do Zoom. So we'll figure something out. You just have to communicate with me through Google Classroom. All your parents have my cell phone number, so you can text me that way as well, but it'll get confusing because then I'll get information from 5 different areas, and that's not good. So good luck, and let me know if you have any problems.